Okay, things that have changed. Somebody asked. When I first got here, I wanted to drive everywhere, and when you live in a city, you can't really do that. I sucked it up and adjusted, and now I'm a true city girl. I love living here. I love taking public transport, although the locals would probably say the like locals always say they hate it. I don't really get why. It's a really good system, but um, and when I do take public transport everywhere, I walk on average 3.5 to 4 miles, which is about, sorry, 3.5 to 4 miles. Uh, 2.5 to 3 miles, which is about 4 kilometers. Um, and yeah, and unlike when I first got here, I don't stop at every bench along the way to rest and catch my breath. Like I almost never stop at benches. I don't collapse when I get home. Um, in fact, I was waiting for a bus the other night, and I actually just stood to wait for it. There was a bench available, and I felt like standing. And that sounds crazy. That sounds like something that that most of you probably do every day and don't even think about it. But that was big for me. I always sit when I can sit because it expends so much energy getting me from point A to point B that I don't have the extra energy um, that I really need to. Sorry, my laptop's getting low on power. I don't have the extra energy that I need to just stand around. Um, yeah, so the fact that I can stand around for no reason is really good. Um, and when I'm at home, I get up more. Like I used to like try to avoid getting up and doing things. I But now I jump up and give my husband coffee if he's looking tired, or like if he's on a conference call and he's looking tired, I'll hop up and get him some coffee. If he's hungry, like, or if I think he might be hungry based on how long it's been since he's eaten anything, I'll text him and say, "Hey, do you want whatever?" And then I'll make it for him and take it to him. Um, and it's not all husband related, just little things throughout the day I get up and do, and I don't think about it anymore. I don't consolidate my trips back and forth as much unless I'm in pain. I have had some Achilles tendon pain because I think my gait has changed because my body size has changed so drastically. And I'm also having knee pain a little bit again because I stopped taking my NSAID. But I've had like to see if it would help with reflux. It has helped. So I think that was the right choice. But consequently, I have a tiny bit of knee pain. If it gets worse, I might have to come up with some other solution. But one other thing that's changed is I get stared at less. I mean, I still get stared at, but not to the extent that I used to, where literally everybody would stare at me when I would go out. Like I felt incredibly visible, if that makes sense. And I mean, I've told you guys I even had people taking my photo, just random tourists taking my photo, because oh my gosh, they'd never seen anybody that big. So it's nice to feel a little bit more invisible. Something else I'm working on is like I just like blend in more, you know. But something else that I'm working on is who am I if I'm like what makes me stand out, like what makes me spectacular if it's not my size, like what makes me different, you know. And my husband Andrew had a very good answer to that, and but he basically like listed all my good qualities that he saw, all my talents and all my skills, and said those are the things that make you different, and um, those are the things that are going to make you stand out. And he's absolutely right about that. I I shouldn't want to stand out based on my appearance. I should want to stand out based on the more important aspects of myself. So he's right about that. Um, let's see. People are more polite. People treat me better. I don't get disgusted looks as much as I used to when I walked around or was on the subway or anywhere. I still get them from time to time, but not to the same extent. Um, Men hold doors for me now, which I hadn't even realized had stopped. But yeah, at some point that stopped. Um, just in general, people are nicer. They don't treat me like, um, you know, they don't treat me quite as poorly. Um, oh, and the last couple of days I was out and about doing lots of errands, and both nights I had not had enough sleep the night before, so by the end of the second day, towards the end of the like 4,500 steps I had gotten in, I was bushed. And normally that doesn't exhaust me at all anymore. And I was like, why am I so tired? And I realized, I mean, it was 2 days in a row, so I'd walked like a total of, I don't know, about 6 miles in 2 days, which is a lot for me. And you know, I hadn't been getting enough sleep, so that was probably a factor. And I really realized, oh my gosh, how I feel right now, the exhaustion that I feel, the tiredness, the achiness, the soreness. This is how I used to feel every time I went out. Like at the end of the day, this is how I would always feel. I just would come home and collapse, and I wouldn't be able to do anything for hours, like except sit with my legs up. So the fact that really sort of hit home for me, because it's hard when it's a gradual improvement in your ability to do things physically. It's very hard to sort of nail down when you're feeling better. And it just, but last night sort of brought it home. Oh, and when I was out at one of my appointments the other day, I was sitting there, and I can't show you because the angle's wrong, but I was casually sitting there, and I wrapped I had my arms sitting around my belly with my hands clasped, and I realized that was the first time that I had done that in years, because my belly was so large that I couldn't clasp my arms around it just sitting there anymore. I would have to like lean down and like fully, you know, like really lean to be able to sort of put my arms around it, and even then I really couldn't do it. So, okay, so those are my NSVs, at least the ones that I want to talk about right now. And now it's time for Q&A video 3. So if you'd go watch that, that would be great. If you like this one, like I said before, comment or give me a thumbs up, and you'll make my day. Okay.